tension in the chi, so we're going to try and relax. So we're looking at laps exercise. We did the sensitivity on your arm, making sure the elbow is high. The feet, however, there's a little bit of kind of all sorts going on. People turning on the toes, people kind of laps out this way, this kind of thing, and it looks all a little bit odd and uncomfortable. I said to a couple of people about this, and it's kind of grown more and more and more. It's worth considering that when we start the class, and we do turning techniques, might be punches, turn and punch, bongs, gans, doesn't matter what it is, we do turns. We talked to this as well, didn't we? Yeah. And so what we get used to is we turn from one side to the other. So we do lots and lots of turns. If you did 500 of these turns, that's great, you did 500. To be honest, only the first one was the one that's the most practical. The other 499 were coming from one extreme to another. So to give an example of this, let's say, just to give this some shape, it's not necessarily correct. My back foot was pointing straight forwards and this one's 45 degrees. Then whenever I'm doing a turning technique, this one will go 45 degrees and that will go 45. So they're both going 45, 45. This is, again, it's not precise, it's just a very simple guide. So your hips would be going from 45 degree angle to 45 degree angle. When we get in laps exercise, we go from the lap, from the ball we go to lap and punch, and with all intents and purpose, this one squares up. The other one, however, kind of goes off on its own because we've gotten used to this extreme from one to the other. You did this as well, yeah, exactly. And we had some people turning on toes as well. The reason why I'm addressing this, more than half of you are doing this. So that means that we get a really good stance with the ball and a kind of wild foot with the punch. Because, yeah, you have this as well. We're not teaching ourselves to lap in laps exercise. You're teaching what to do should you be lapped. So if I'm lapped, then I'm going to turn with the ball. So therefore, when we square up, we don't allow that foot to go off. So the big tip, the thing that I really want you to try and put time into practice is from straight, turn. And you see how little that back foot needs to move. It'll differ slightly depending on the curvature of your calf muscle for each person, but that's almost it's almost a gesture, just turns. Same when you go back, other side, same back. So whatever little it moves, that back foot, get used to that square again. So this is where I'll be for my my lap and punch. I turn, I'm square, turn, square. So get used to this. Otherwise, if we only ever go turn to turn, when we try to square, that's when you're going to get that rogue foot. So yeah, you guys did this as well, and yeah, we have toes and all sorts. So this is a really big thing. It's a major thing that you need to practice. Just getting from here, turn and then square, turn and square. Really, to recognise where you're turning from. The key thing is going to be being able to turn and not to just swing both feet massively overcommitted. To acknowledge that if I do a turning punch, my back knee is going to be the driving force, going the same direction as that punch. This is going to be the same direction. I'm allowing the front foot to go wherever it wants, but I need to acknowledge where it's come from, and for that reason, get used to going back to here as well. If you're really not sure about this, make a little stamp with your toes. So, we turn, lift the toes, down, turn, lift, and get used to that. It's a really silly seeming thing, that's a word, seeming, but we're going to lift and drop, just to get that clarity. And don't get tricked by your eyes. Don't look for this every time. I need you to get used to the feel of this. So for that reason, big turn, I'm sure you'll be alright with that. Lift the toes and stand them down in front of you. Big turn, lift and down. And that's also going to help you to get used to this turning on your heels as well. So it's a really big thing that I want you to practice. If you can do that for next week, it's going to help us do a lot more techniques. Very good. Bobby lead shoes.